Hi everyone and welcome to my first booktube video. I'm so excited to start this little journey with you guys. So you guys might know me from my bookstagram, Bookish Joe, so hi if you're coming from over there, which I feel like everyone is coming from over there, but if you just stumbled upon this video, hi. I started that account about a year and a half ago. It's almost gonna be 2 years, which is literally so crazy. I just didn't really have anyone to talk to about books, so I made that account and now we're here. But today's video, I thought I would talk to you about some of my favorite reads of the year so you can kind of get to know me a little bit better. I'm so excited to talk to you about these books because I love these books. I ride or die for them. These are all like mostly 6-star reads for me. I've reread pretty much all of them with the exception of 3. 2 of them, it's because I just read them like a month and a half ago, and then the other one I just can't bring myself to reread it quite yet. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting off strong, one of my favorite books of all time, but also of the year. This is probably my #1 pick. I was so excited to read this. I read it back in January. Literally so beautiful. I haven't been able to reread it just because it is a heavy book, but oh god, I love this. So I can't tell you too much without ruining the story, but this is the 5th installment in the Magnolia Parks series, but it is the 3rd book in BJ and Magnolia's journey. Now, I love this book for multiple reasons, mostly because I have like such a huge attachment to the characters. Also, I just feel like Jessa did such a great job at tying every little unanswered question up. There's literally nothing unresolved in this book. I think the grief, there's a lot of grief in this book, is so beautifully portrayed, and I felt so seen and understood when it came to the aspect of the book. But also, everybody since the beginning, literally since book 1, people have been screaming at Jessa like, BJ needs to be a better person. And you know what? The growth my man has, I knew he had it in him. I knew it all along. I just really did. And also, we get so much personal growth from Magnolia. It really is beautiful. I just feel like the whole book is amazing. This is really character driven. Amazing. The best way she could possibly end BJ and Magnolia's story. I am obsessed. If you haven't read the series, do it, but don't tell me if you don't like it, okay? Because it's my most prized possession. Up next is a book that I have reread 4 times this year. It was truly my hyperfixation. It's still my hyperfixation. I think about the FMC in this book literally all the time. It is such a beautiful book. Definitely my favorite by Miss Tara. This is a favorite. Obsessed. This is going to be an interconnected series, but this is the first book. Now, this book is my favorite for multiple reasons. It is about reinventing yourself, about finding out what truly matters in life. It really focuses on the small, minor details of life and how you actually find true happiness in those little moments rather than the big moments. If you want to go tropey, it's small town, it's set in Oregon. Our FMC is also really quirky, but she's really real to me, and I feel like she's so inspirational. She's just like the girl next door, but in the best way possible. Another thing that I love about this book is that when we meet Fisher, we meet him at a point in his life where he's literally down in the dumps. And I feel like oftentimes during romance novels, whenever we meet our characters, it's always the girl who is like in pieces, can't put herself together, and suddenly this man swoops in and he like saves the day. And it's not like that in this book. It's actually reversed. We see Fisher in a really uncomfortable position. He's just let go of his job. He has to move to a small town from New York. He's super burnt out. He's just dealing with grief. He's dealing with a lot. And when he meets Sage, she's kind of like this really fun, quirky, and happy character, but she's also been through her fair share of things. And she really like shows him how to live and like appreciate life. And it really is just such a beautiful story. I think that this is something everybody should read. The audiobook is absolutely wonderful, amazing. I have been lucky enough to read the 2nd book in this interconnected series. It follows all of the siblings, so all of her siblings. This is Sage, so all the birds. And it is also an incredibly beautiful book, but this one just has a really special place in my heart. The next one that I have is a book that honestly took me by surprise. I started reading some books by Annabelle Monaghan, and I absolutely fell in love with her writing, and I just wanted to read more. This book I got on NetGalley originally. My friend Kayla told me that I would really like it, and I was like, okay. So I started reading it, and it literally made me so giddy, so happy, kicking my feet up in the air. But it also tackled some serious themes that I really appreciated, and the book itself is not really long, and I feel like Annabelle does such a great job at like wrapping up a story in a short amount of time, and I feel like not a lot of people can do that. And it is summer romance. I am so obsessed with this book. It is perfect. Also a really great book on audio. When we meet Ellie, she's in a really crappy position. She's about to get divorced. She's still grieving her mother. She's about to become a single mom, just lots of changes. And she's just really down in the dumps. And I don't know about you, but I love when I get to read about women who maybe feel like they've passed like the best years of their life and they just find their happy ending. So I feel like this book is really like about second chances, about really like putting yourself first, and it's okay to be going through like, you know, really bad situations, but you always come out at the top at the end. And this book has one of the cutest meet cutes I've ever read. It has dogs in it, and if you know me, I'm obsessed with dogs. I have a dog. His name is Brody Styles. He's literally right here. So that really like just tugged at my heart, and it was so cute. You know that lyric in Taylor's song where it's like, in a world of boys, he's a gentleman? That's literally Ethan in this book. It's so good, you guys. It's so good. Moving on, we have Wisteria, which is the third installment in the Belladonna series. So I can't really tell you too much about it, but I'll tell you about the previous book. So it follows Signa. This is not Signa, by the way. This is a character named Blythe, which you do meet in the first book. But it follows Signa, a girl who cannot die. It gives major gothic, paranormal vibes. Definitely like Bridgerton a little bit. It's like set in that time period. It's like the perfect fall books to read, truly. This one in particular is Marriage of Convenience. I love this woman. She is literally everything to me. Characters who are like her, I'm just obsessed with. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away because I would ruin the series. But also the man, like the love interest, her love interest, jaw on the floor, like hair tuck. Because I love that man. I will not tell you his name because you don't meet him till the second book of the series, but he is hot. He has a god complex, and you know what? I'm here for it. I'm sad. I love it. I love him. He is everything to me. But they do have to get married, and they hate each other. And that's all I'll say about this book, but it is truly one of the best books I've read this year. The next book that I have here is by none other, the queen herself, Miss Abby Jimenez. Round of applause. I love this woman. She can do no wrong. This, in my opinion, is the best book that she's written. Yours truly, girlies, don't come for me. I love that book. But this book just really got me. Like, I related to Justin and Emma. Like, they had me in a chokehold. I said, yes, I see you and I see you. Now, this book follows Emma and Justin, and they meet via a Reddit thread. And it's actually really, really funny and a really great meet cute. But they realize that they both have like this sort of curse, and it's that every time they date someone, that person that once they get broken up with goes on to meet the love of their life. So they're like, you know what we should do? We should date each other, cancel out the curse, and then we'll meet like our true soulmate. So they're supposed to go on like 4 dates, and that's it. But not really, because that's not what happens. Now, while this is a romance book, I feel like it is so much more than that. It has really great mental health representation, which Abby always does such a great job with that. But it also really explores the traumas that we develop and why we get them. And I feel like that was something that I really, really resonated with. I just wanted to give like Emma a big hug. Justin is one of my top tier book boyfriends. I feel like he is so soft and perfect and kind. He's like too kind for this world. And again, like a theme that I found in this book that I really, really loved, the big moments are in the small moments, and you really have to appreciate those things. And I feel like they both equally learned from each other and made each other better people. And it was just so beautiful and so heartwarming. The audiobook also is amazing. Definitely my favorite by Abby Jimenez so far in the Part of Your World Interconnected series. I love these characters. They're perfect. I just noticed that half of the books that I've been talking about are summer books, and this is also a summer book. This is Funny Story by Emily Henry. Now, I'm a huge Emily Henry fan. I love it, but this book literally spoke to me on a different level. I've read this one 3 times. Each time it gets better and better. This is so Archer and Matilda coded if you guys are Taylor Swift or Harry Styles fans. My girl Daphne, my boy Miles, I love them so much. Daphne's definitely the character that I relate to the most, that I feel the most represented in. Now, this follows Daphne and Miles, and they have just been broken up with. And guess who their partners are with now? Oh, they're with each other. That's right. They left these 2 beautiful people for each other because they were best friends before. I know, it's literally so awful. This story had me gripped from the very beginning. Like chapter 1, I was already sat. I remember exactly what I was doing. I was just like, I kept having to pause because I just couldn't believe it. Like I couldn't believe that I was already so enthralled into the story, but also that's just like the effect. That's the Emily Henry effect on me. This is another one where I felt like pieces of myself were woven into Miles and Daphne, and I feel like as a reader, I'm always looking to connect, and I definitely connected so much with these characters, so they're so special to me. And I obviously feel the most like Daphne quite literally, because now I'm working at a library like her, so I keep saying I'm in my Daphne era, which I love. But I just truly think this is such a beautiful book. I think both of them are so vulnerable and raw, and just like there's so many beautiful tender moments. There's like great representation of friendship between the couple and also like just normal friendship in general. I love Daphne so much. This book has such a special place in my heart. I will never get enough of these two. Now, this is the last summer book that I'm going to talk about. The girlies were really pulling out all the stops for summer. I feel like all the best books came out then. But this is The Ex-Spouse by Miss Jessica Joyce. My favorite second chance romance, one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. If you're a Mirrorball girly, Georgia is your girl. Now, this follows Georgia and Eli, who were previously best friends along with somebody else. They were a little trio of best friends. They started to date. Something happened, and now they're broken up. They haven't never gotten really any closure. Their best friend, the third part of their little trio, doesn't really know that they're not like vibing, and they have to spend some time together because their best friend's getting married. So they have to go fix a few things, and then we kind of just see their journey through there. But when I tell you that the first chapter of this book already had me teary-eyed, like the way that Jessica had me in a chokehold, like 3 pages in, I was just like, I can't breathe. Like, I already know this is gonna be so, so good. Now, something that I love about this book is that we don't spend a lot of time in the past. We actually spend no time in a past chapter. Jessica does such a great job at telling us what happened in the past without staying too long there. She like gives us little pieces throughout the book, and it's just done so well. If you love second chance romance, you have to read this. The last books that I'm going to talk to you about are the Shepherd King's duology. I feel like this is just fantasy. It does have romance, but romance is definitely the subplot, and this is some of the best writing I've ever read. Such a unique magic system. I truly couldn't get enough. Both of these books were 5 stars, but this one is my favorite, which is the sequel, and I feel like that never happens. I feel like the first book is always the best one, but this one, perfection. If you haven't read the series, I highly recommend it. Now, this is a gothic fantasy. Romance is definitely the subplot, so if you're looking to go into something and you want just romance, this is not it. You just have to be mindful of that. But truly, the plot of these books is so amazing that I didn't even feel like I needed more romance. It just gives you like little sprinkles of it, and it was just perfect. I loved the magic system. As I said, this follows Elspeth, and she has a monster living inside of her head. Crazy, I know, it sounds scary. I mean, I guess it's not necessarily scary. It's a little bit spooky. Definitely a gothic setting, but it is just, like I said, some of the best writing I've ever read. The characters are all so well fleshed out. I love all of them. Like, the villains are villaining. Like, they're scary, but they're so good. Sometimes you read a book and the villain is just like merp. Like, he dies immediately, and I'm like, I want people to suffer. Okay, that sounds bad. I don't want people to suffer, but I just want it to be like an actual like conflict in the book. I just don't want it to be resolved right away. And yeah, if you read One Dark Window, you're gonna want to immediately pick this one up because you just are not gonna be able to get enough. Now, those are some of my favorite reads of 2024. These are like my ride or die books. I feel like I'm being really picky when it comes to the books that are like very me core. You probably saw a theme here where I'm like, I really relate to these characters, because I feel like just like as a reader and just as a person, I'm constantly looking for things to connect with, because I love being able to like see myself or like just like resonate with things and be like, oh my god, like I really feel seen in that. I feel like that's one of the best feelings when you're reading anything or just watching something. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got to know me a little bit better based off of my reading taste. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you stay for more videos, hopefully, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.